In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at curves and objects and how they can track along curves. And I have two different types of curves set up in here. And one is just a regular path following curve, and one is using a curve modifier. And let's see the difference between the two. So this particular object here, if I press Alt A, you're going to see it's running around this curve like this. But yet this one's not. Alright, and it runs it through frame 100, and I've done tutorials on this somewhere before, I don't remember, but we'll take a quick look at it. If you just go up to the curve button in here, right down here, over a course of 100 frames, that runs. That's why that takes 100 frames to go around the circle. Like this. And this was nothing more than a Bezier curve circle that I put in here, and then I parented this object to the circle. Alright? Now in this case over here, this is not parented to this object. What this has instead, this has a curve modifier. So you go up to the modifier tab and you see I have this, I would have add, where's my curve modifier? Right there, like this, and then I grab the object which was the Bezier circle, which is this one here. And basically what it does, see it's set to the deformation axis is X, and so if I move it along X, it's moving it around that curve, but since it's displaced from the curve, it kind of warps the object as it goes. So really to keep that in check, you just click this, press Shift S, cursor to the selected, then click this, Shift S, and selection to the cursor. And by putting it there, it basically aligns this object with this circle. They basically have the same location. But then with the curve modifier applied, you can see it attaches it to the circle. Whereas I'll do this one from scratch here. I'll just unparent this real quick, clear the parent. So if I press Alt A, nothing's happening right now. So in this case, I'd added a Bezier circle, which was Shift A, right there, curve circle. And then I click that, shift, click that, press Control P, and then when it says set parent, not just to the object but to follow the path, like that. And that's what does it over time in here for the 100 frames, or if you change it to 200 frames, that'll follow it over the course of 200 frames. I have to change that up to 200 frames, like this. So you see it takes longer to go around the circle, but yet this one doesn't do it. So what this one's based on time if you use this kind of curve type effect, and this one's based on the location of this here. So since I pick this and I go into the modifier tab, and the deformation axis is along X, so if I move it along X, then it actually follows the curve. It doesn't move in the X direction, it just follows in the curve like that. If I change it to Y, then I have to move it along the Y axis, and it's still following along the curve like this, or Z, where does Z go? And if you move up and down, it still follows along a curve like that. Alright, so one basically gives you the ability to control it. Let me move that back up. I'm going to put that back to the center, so you got to reset that thing. Selection cursor to selected, selection to cursor, like that, and then I move it on X again, and it follows the curve. So the one allows you to control it over time, and the one just allows you to control it. So well, either I could move this sphere, or I could actually even move this circle. By moving the circle, you're moving the object around the circle as well, like that. So I could keyframe this with, believe it or not, an X location. I could say I location, and then up here move this up to here and press I location, and then when I press Alt A, that one's following and that one's following, but differently. So it just gives you different forms of control, and you never know when you're going to need it. Okay, well that's it for this lesson, and I'll see you in the next lesson.